This is the time of year when people start leaving their inside lives, moving outside, and venturing into the garden. Unfortunately, this is also the time of year when we see a ton of gardening injuries to the lower back, neck, shoulder, and knees. Stay tuned as I show you several tips to help avoid injuries and keep you safe in the garden. Here's a 3-minute warm-up you need to be doing every time before you go into the garden to keep you running smooth all spring and summer long. We're going to start from the ground up, focusing on our ankles. The ankles are really important in the garden when we're trying to squat down. So you're just going to find a wall, get your foot and ankle about 3 to 4 inches away, and see if you can bring your knee to the wall until you feel a gentle stretch in your calf and ankle. If it's too easy for you, you can move back another ½ inch or an inch until you find a spot where it's a nice, comfortable stretch. Hold that for 5 seconds to start, build up to a 30-second stretch. For this next stretch, you're going to need a stool or chair and a towel that you can roll up. This is going to help improve your knee's ability to bend in the garden for a good squat. We'll place our rolled up towel in the back of our knee, and then we're just going to bring our foot and ankle toward our butt, hold for about 5 seconds, and you're going to repeat that on each leg 3 times. Next up in the chain is our hip, which is really important in the garden when we're trying to reach down to plant or do anything at dirt level. This stretch is going to be working on opening up your hips and groin. Hold it for about 5 seconds and repeat 5 to 6 repetitions. Back on our feet, we're moving into the low back by doing a back extension stretch. You can place your hands on your butt and back bend 5 to 10 times until you feel a gentle stretch in the center of your back. It's not a bad idea to do this periodically while you're gardening. Next, we're going to work on the shoulder and shoulder blade by waking up the muscles that are so important for reaching. You just want to get your arms about 90 degrees, shoulder height, elbows stay straight, and then you're trying to bring your shoulder blades back together, pinching them in the back without bending your elbows. Go through about 10 repetitions and you're ready to go. For our last stretch, we're going to move to the part of the body that's the most important in the garden. That's our hands. We're going to stretch out our forearm flexor muscles by pulling our fingers backward, keeping the elbow straight if you can. If it's too uncomfortable for you, just bend the elbow slightly. Hold that for 15 seconds each hand. Now that we're all warmed up, let's head out to the garden. Now there's some different things you can do in the garden to prevent yourself from getting injured. There's some typical things we see people doing that put their back, shoulders, and neck at risk. One of those is unnecessarily reaching outside of their base. So if I needed to grab some weeds in the distance, we often see people reaching out unnecessarily. We'd prefer to see you take a step forward, get yourself a little closer to the object, and then you're able to keep your arms close to your center. Another thing that we see that we talk about is how well somebody keeps their nose inside their toes. So instead of rotating to try to get something that's to my right, I'm going to open my base, trying to keep my nose in between my toes, and that's minimizing the torque on the back. Now, one of the things that keeps people from being able to garden as much as they would like is how difficult it can be to bend down and stay bent down for a period of time. So using a stool like Rosa here is using allows her to be able to spend hours in the garden without having difficulty or pain in her knees or back. Hopefully these stretches and tips help keep you pain-free throughout the gardening season.